Looks like they just declared the real winner of the presidential debate. It was former President Donald Trump, guys. And I'm really not surprised. Just check out Trump's closing statement going viral right now on TikTok.
Well, Donald Trump's closing statement at the presidential debate has struck a chord with TikTokers all over the world. The video posted by ABC News official TikTok received over 1 million likes and a staggering 17 million views. And that number continues to climb. Trump's remarks is a question that voters will likely be thinking about before they cast their ballot. Watch.
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like we're not going to frack. We're not going to take fossil fuel. We're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not. Germany tried that, and within 1 year, they were back to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just ask one simple question. Why didn't she do it?
24 million views last I saw it on TikTok. Even President Biden showed signs of leaving the party as he briefly wore a Donald Trump hat in Pennsylvania.
Oh, sure, I'll go.
Huh?
Yeah.
You remember your name?
I don't remember my name. I'm slow.
Stuart Park. Stuart Old Park.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy.
And you're an old Park.
I know you would know about that.
What?
About being old.
Oh, I know.
All right.
I'm a young timer. Huh?
And he reminds me of the guys I grew up with. There was always one in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, I'm the only one.
There you go, man. I need that hat.
You want my autograph?
Hell no.
You know my name. Come on.
I ain't going that far.
Yeah, you said you would do a selfie. There he goes. Hey, I'm proud of you now. Huh?
Just remember, no eating dogs and cats.
Hey, they're good.
Thank you.
They're good. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I hope you like the pizza.
Blink twice if you're being held against your will, Joe. No joke, the moment felt like a cry for help from the president. Don't you guys think? Maybe he really is in trouble with his party. Some people say that with President Biden signaling some serious hate for Kamala Harris and the Democratic higher-ups for replacing him. More on that later. But yeah, everything seems to be going wrong for the Democratic Party ever since the presidential debate with former President Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Sure, you've got their mainstream media spinning the news that Kamala Harris won the debate on ABC, but Reuters admitted that their own group of undecided voters remain unconvinced that the Democratic vice president was the better candidate. Reuters interviewed 10 people who are still unsure about how they're going to be voting in the November 5th election before they watch the debate. And guess what, guys? 6 said afterward that they would now either vote for Trump or they're leaning toward backing him. 3 said that they would now back Harris, and 1 was still unsure how he would vote. Now, this is really big, guys, especially considering exactly how tight this race is between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. The election will likely be decided by just tens of thousands of votes in just a handful of battleground states, many of whom are swing voters like the undecided voters who spoke to Reuters. So Harris is definitely not making a good impression on voters. Among the 10 interviewees from Reuters, 5 said they found Harris vague during the more than 90-minute debate on how exactly she planned to improve the United States economy and to deal with the high cost of living, which is a very top concern for voters. Not to mention the weekend before the debate, a New York Times Siena College opinion poll showed that More than a quarter of likely voters feel that they do not know enough about her, in contrast to how well they know Donald Trump. The Trump converts actually said that they trusted Trump more on the economy, even though all of them said that they did not like him as a person. And hey, like Trump said, like him or hate him, you still gotta vote for him. It's not about being his best friend. Do you like the policies or not? Do you like the current state of the economy or not? Were your finances better before Kamala Harris and Biden or what? But true enough, guys, voters said that their personal financial situation had been better when Donald Trump was president during 2017 to 2021. 4 out of 6 voters said that Kamala Harris did not convince them that she would pursue different economic policies than Democratic President Joe Biden, something that they blame for the high cost of living. One of them, Mark Kadish, 61 years old, said he still doesn't know what she's for. For this entrepreneur in Florida, there was no real meat and bones for her plans. Now, I watched the debate myself, guys. To be fair, Kamala Harris did mention some policy specifics, including her plan to offer tax benefits to families and small businesses, but honestly, I think she focused much of the debate on attacking Donald Trump rather than actually laying out detailed policies. Now, an interesting take from one of the voters, Robert Wheeler, 48 years old, a security firm executive in Nevada. He was leaning toward Kamala Harris before the debate, but after the debate, he said that if the election were held tomorrow, he would now vote for Trump, largely because he thought Kamala Harris didn't provide clarity on her policy. Now, apparently, Wheeler felt like how a lot of Americans are feeling right now. The whole debate was Kamala Harris telling them why not to vote for Donald Trump instead of why she's the right candidate. Now, this kind of thinking is probably why the Harris campaign said that they would be interested in having another debate, but Donald Trump was pretty much lukewarm to this idea, and just 2 days after it, he rejected the proposal completely. He posted on his Truth Social account saying that when a prize fighter loses a fight, the first words out of his mouth are, "I want a rematch." He also said polls clearly show that he won the debate against Comrade Kamala Harris, the Democrats' radical left candidate, on Tuesday night, and she immediately called for a second debate. He continued by saying that Kamala Harris and President Crooked Joe Biden have destroyed our country with millions of criminals and mentally deranged people pouring into the USA, totally unchecked and unvetted, with inflation bankrupting our middle class. And according to the former president, everyone knows this, and all of the other problems that are caused by Kamala and Joe, it was discussed in great detail during the first debate with Joe and the second debate with Comrade Harris. He also pointed out how the vice president was a no-show at the Fox debate and refused to do NBC and CBS. Therefore, Trump declared there will be no third debate. So there you go, guys. You heard it here first. And after what happened with ABC, it was basically 3-on-1. And I don't blame him if he wants to focus his campaign somewhere else. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump were to sue ABC. I've even heard people say that they should investigate ABC for election interference, maybe even lose their license. Anyway, drop me a quick comment down below. What do you guys think? And while you guys are at it, I definitely appreciate a tap on the like button too. Much appreciated, guys. And we're not done with this one, so definitely stick around. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Now, another recent viral moment that we do need to talk about, President Joe Biden wearing that Donald Trump hat in Pennsylvania. Did y'all see that? Could he have been signaling some hate for Kamala Harris there? Now, some certainly see it that way. I mean, you saw the clip earlier, but now for some context. All right, so basically President Joe Biden visited a firehouse in Shanksville, near where passengers and crew members of Flight 93 died on September 11, 2001, after interrupting the hijacking of their plane and crashing into a field that day. The Flight 93 National Memorial held its 23rd annual observance in Shanksville to commemorate the passengers and the crew of that flight. Now, as you guys saw, Biden was speaking with a man wearing a Trump hat and offering to trade him his own hat with the presidential seal on it for the Trump hat. Some funny back and forth happened when the man asked Biden if he remembered his name. Biden replied that he doesn't remember and he's slow. Yeah, for real, guys. I know he was joking, but this may not be that far from the truth. But yeah, guys, the real viral moment happened when President Biden put the hat on his head, drawing claps and cheers from the crowd. But what came out of Biden's mouth next raised some eyebrows among the people. He said to the crowd, "Remember, no eating cats or dogs." This after claims that President Donald Trump made during his speech with Vice President Kamala Harris on Tuesday that Haitian migrants in Ohio were eating residents' pets, cats, and dogs. Officials say that there have been no credible, detailed reports about the claims. But see, guys, the claims started from a social media post in Springfield, Ohio. The post described how someone's neighbor's daughter's friends suddenly saw a cat hanging from a tree, about to be butchered and eaten, while also also alleging that Haitians lived in the house. Alongside the post was a photo showing a man holding what looked to be like a Canada goose by its feet. And although officials have stated that there's no credible evidence supporting these claims, Ohio's Republican Governor Mike DeWine has announced he'll be funneling resources to help ease the influx of some 20,000 Haitian migrants that have arrived in the city of Springfield legally under the Biden-Harris administration in the last several years. So what does that really say to you guys? Now, of course, I did a video just recently. Go to my channel, check it out. Forget if it was a live or video, but I think it was actually a live video where I discussed this. Actually, it was a live. Click on the live tab. You will see a lot of confirmed details about Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs and people's pets in the Springfield, Ohio area. Mainstream media didn't want you to know about it, but I brought the truth to you guys. Definitely hit the channel, click on the lives, and look at that video and you tell me what's really going on. What are they trying to hide? But guys, let's go back to this whole ABC presidential debate, all right? Rumors were flying around recently that an ABC whistleblower was ready to come out with an affidavit about the Harris campaign cheating in the presidential debate. The X account, Black Insurrectionist, a self-described MAGA supporter, posted saying, "I will be releasing an affidavit from an ABC whistleblower regarding the debate. I have just signed a non-disclosure agreement with the attorney of the whistleblower. The affidavit states how the Harris campaign was given sample questions, which were essentially the same questions that were given during the debate, and separate assurances of fact-checking Donald Trump that she would not be fact-checked," end quote. True enough, guys, the ABC News moderators, Lindsay Davis and David Muir, fact-checked Donald Trump at least 5 times, while never fact-checking Kamala Harris, despite her telling lies and half-truths that have been widely fact-checked as being false. And let's not forget Kamala Harris is very close friends with Dana Walden, co-chairman of Disney Entertainment, which oversees Disney's full portfolio of entertainment media, including ABC News. Not to mention the debate moderator, Lindsay Davis, had previously boasted on air about literally being Kamala Harris's sorority sister. Tell me you're being biased without telling me you're being biased. So yeah, there could definitely be a lot of truth to this rumor, guys. Now, guys, I told my uncle about this. He said, "Would you expect anything less from Harris?" Downright disgraceful is what my uncle said about Vice President Kamala Harris. I mean, I remember when on 2 separate occasions, former CNN contributor Donna Brazile, she tipped off Clinton campaign ahead of time on questions to expect during events on the news network. Y'all remember that, right? I remember. This is why a former advisor to Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, Mark Penn, has called on ABC to launch an internal investigation about whether there was an effort from this news division to rig Tuesday's presidential debate in favor of Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, Penn doesn't seem like a friend of Trump, considering he was a pollster and senior advisor for the Clintons from 1995 to 2008 and co-chair of the Harvard Capps Harris poll. But according to him, suspicion is really quite high, and a review of the internal texts and emails should be done by an independent party to find out whether there was an effort to rig the debate's outcome. I mean, he makes a very good point here, guys, because the American people really want to know, right? And hey, ABC really shouldn't be afraid if they're not hiding anything, right? I'm just saying. Drop a quick comment down below if you guys think that they should investigate ABC for the lopsided presidential debate. I read a book a long time ago, and it basically said something that was really powerful and profound to me, and it said something along the lines of, look at your 5 closest friends, and typically your income is an average of your 5 closest friends. Now, with that being said, I was kind of like thinking, okay, well, how do I find people who made way more than me so I could increase my chances of having a higher income? I mean, it only made sense, right? For less than a cup of coffee a day, for less than $1 a day, join a powerful network of people who are ready to change their lives for the better. And I will be putting a limit on this group, so get in while you can. Be positively motivated by others who are also on the same pursuit. So I'm going to leave a link for you guys so you can join me over on the Life Pursuit Network in the description down below this video. So check it out, guys, and let's not be a victim of this great wealth transfer that is taking place right now.
Over 100 students in a district outside of Boston will have to find a new way to get to school in September. They won't have bus service due to a shortage. This comes as the state started paying for buses for migrant students whose families recently moved into their community. So joining us now is Ashley Francois, a mom of 3 from that school district.
Wait a second. So you mean to tell me that my kids, your kids, can't go to school on a school bus that your tax dollars are paying for because the city is now choosing to spend those funds on illegal migrants? Like, what is going on here? Do we need Donald Trump in here like now? Like, forget the 2024 election. Get him in here now. What is going on here, folks? How are migrant children being prioritized ahead of American kids? This doesn't make any sense at all, guys.
Ashley, this is quite the story, and it's one that impacts you personally, I understand. You have, is it 3 children, and all of whom now about to figure out a way to get to school?
1 out of my 3 children have a bus for the school year because she's in elementary. The other 2 are middle school and high school, and that's where they stopped buses for these kids.
I see one of them right there. I see one of the kids right there. That's make your way in. It's fine. And I understand.
But what is going on here, guys? How are we allowing this here in America? And see, this is what Kamala Harris wants to do. This is what Joe Biden wants to do. They know they're going to get the black vote. And it's funny because you hear all these complaints about Donald Trump leveraging Michaela Montgomery during Donald Trump's rally in Atlanta. Now, for those of you guys who don't happen to know who Michaela Montgomery is, Michaela is the black woman, very well-spoken, who basically grabbed the mic from Donald Trump during his rally in Atlanta. This was before the Donald Trump assassination attempt over in Butler, Pennsylvania. But anyway, she is the owner of the company and essentially a media company called Conserve the Culture. And she made waves during Donald Trump's rally. Well, what we're seeing here, guys, is we are seeing the United States of America being compromised yet again by the leadership in office. Okay? You want to know about Kamala Harris's policies? Look at them. Her policies are right in front of your face, and they're only going to get worse here. Okay? And it's interesting because the left, the Democrats, have accused Donald Trump of leveraging Michaela Montgomery's race to essentially garner black support, to essentially garner support from black voters. But what we're seeing from the Kamala Harris, Tim Walz side of the camp is essentially the same thing that they're accusing Donald Trump of doing. They're inviting celebrities of the hip-hop culture. Look at Meg Thee Stallion twerking on stage for votes. Essentially twerking for votes, guys. We're seeing Quavo. We're seeing Little John, as well as many other hip-hop artists, rappers, R&B singers, the likes. They even hinted toward Beyonce being at the final DNC rally and speech. Turns out that was a big letdown for a lot of folks. But this is what we're seeing. You guys want to know about what Kamala Harris's policies are? You want to know why Kamala Harris doesn't take interviews? This is why. There's no need to do any interviews. She's already in the presidential, in the Oval Office right now. If you wanted to know, is Kamala Harris going to be lowering taxes? Is Kamala Harris going to improve the educational system? Well, we're already seeing what Kamala Harris is doing with the educational system and what she's likely to continue to do on a grander scale if she becomes president of the United States.
I want to point out a couple of obvious statements. These have been out there from the very beginning. One is right here. You want to talk about inciting violence, inciting an insurrection. You want to talk about the ideas of promoting violence. Well, right here you've got Kamala Harris, who is actually trying to raise funds for the very people who are setting fire to our cities in 2020. Why don't we go look at Minneapolis? Why don't we go look at Seattle, New York, Baltimore? Why don't we look at what CHOP was doing, what was being encouraged? Why don't we look at Maxwell Waters, who said we need to be more confrontational, or Nancy Pelosi, the former speaker, who said, I'm surprised there's not more people out in the streets rioting. Now let's look at what President Trump said, however. He said, these things and events that happen when a sacred landslide election victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away from great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long, go home with love and in peace. Remember this day forever. Well,
and yet they continue to blame Donald Trump for inciting an insurrection. Tim Walz essentially allowed his city to burn down. Tim Walz will join Kamala Harris in their attempt to allow America to burn itself down.
The media did remember this day forever, and so did the left, who continued to try and vilify it as something that it is not. But let me be clear. President Trump did not incite violence. This was not an insurrection. If this is an insurrection, then what about all the pro-Hamas members who sit in our Capitol and disrupt legislation, which just happened last week? Was that an insurrection? It was an unarmed group who is disrupting federal legislative process. That's what everyone in the media and all the left continues to try and claim. But the bottom line is that it was never about policing, and it was all about politics. This is election interference. This is trying to remove someone that they know will be the president of the United States, someone who was the 45th, 46th, and will be the 47th president of the United States. This is about ensuring that they can try and remove him from the ballot by attacking his family, by attacking his businesses, by claiming that there was a false narrative set up for fraud regarding the actual valuation of his property, Mar-a-Lago, which...
For those of you guys who aren't familiar with what the senator is discussing right now, he's literally referencing the case that was against him in New York City. Judge Arthur Engeron, Letitia James, and a team of other DOJ and George Soros funded, backed agents of terror were coming after Donald Trump, his businesses, after some alleged fraud allegations, which I personally believe are just completely false. But of course, because, you know, the paid judges, they're all Democrats. They leverage their position to attack Donald Trump, to attack his finances. They knew how much money Donald Trump had set aside for his campaign.
And I'm glad he out. Trump, the best.
Barack Obama, I ain't got no message to him. I don't mess with Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm a Trump supporter. Trump do more for black people and care more about black people. And Barack Obama ain't black. Just to let that be known.
What about Kamala Harris?
I don't with her either. All Trump all day.
Yeah. What's your message to Donald Trump today?
Keep going. Come get us, man. We waiting on you.
And if you guys want more proof, check out our other video where they break down exactly what went wrong for Kamala Harris in the debate. Guys, I'm going to drop a link down below. Definitely check it out. As always, thanks so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Join us over in our Patreon community, and I'll see you guys on the next one.